Hey, Lauren.
Hey Ben, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How are things out in Colorado?
Things are coloradical.
Yeah,
That's- it's great. It's a heat wave. It's like, it's August. We live in the desert, turns out.
yeah. It's been hot here all summer too, which I can't complain about. It's been nice. Uh, so I think you got one of these. We did a thing. It's been about a year since we brewed this beer and put it in barrels. Culture Collab. It's a collaboration between Surly and New Belgium. And it's being released in August, early September. And it is a blended culture American sour ale with blueberries aged in virgin oak and some red wine barrels. So pretty cool. It's in a standalone box, kind of like our last anniversary beer. The can inside looks pretty awesome. I'm really happy about the whole project from the beer inside all the way through to the brand concept packaging. So cheers. How did we start down this road?
I believe you randomly emailed me and said you want to make a beer.
Yeah.
But that's after, years and years and years of friendship.
Good. Well, it's a lot of fun to finally make a beer. I think we'd wanted to do something for a long time, but from Surly's perspective, and I'm sure New Belgium has felt this too. The previous format that we were packaging sour beers in was the 750 milliliter bottle, which brands like Pentagram that we've done in the past that are Britannomyces, 100% fermented beers. We did some beers like Misanthrope and some of our anniversary beers, but the last 2 or 3 years, the sales of those packages have kind of gone away unless it's a brand for us like Darkness, which continues to sell well. So we should probably go back and actually open the beer and drink the beer since we're doing this tasting. So I'm gonna open one.
It's great. Oh my God, the foam is.
Yeah, it's got great foam for kind of being a mixed ferm beer. A lot of mixed ferm beers.
I love the fact that because this can is such a gorgeous color, like blueberry color, it really messes with your brain. Like your brain wants that foam to be this color. And so I was like, oh my God, is it blue? And then somebody's like, no.
It's not blue.
Are you sure? What about now?
It would be kind of weird if it was blue, but it would be pretty awesome. Cheers, Lauren.
Cheers. Salud. Wow. It is amazing. It has it's so sour, it's so mouthwatering, it's so juicy. And then it's like enveloped, wrapped like in a marshmallow, oaky, kind of boozy, sweet envelope. So it has both the best of both worlds.
It's great. So we aged a small portion in virgin oak, and I think that really brings out that vanilla marshmallow. And I think some people have the concern that it's actually going to make it more astringent and kind of overly tannic, but I feel like we got the opposite. We got a lot of really nice vanilla notes from the oak, and it still has a pleasant wood character, but it's not overwhelming by any means.
It's like super enjoyable and refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like it's like really refreshing. The bubbles are so effervescent, so like they're just like this little party continuously going on in your mouth. And because of it has so much great carbonation, because the sour doesn't want it to stay around, it just is like some of our favorite things in the world are sparkling wines, and it really has that. The thing that I am most attracted to about that is in this glass.
That's awesome. And I think one of the kind of inspirations from my end when we were coming to this was kind of getting a little bit of that skin contact from the blueberries, kind of like you do with like an orange wine. So I've been drinking a lot of kind of weird natural orange wines from Eastern Europe. And you get a little bit of that of the blueberries. It's different, but it's similar, and it kind of gives it a different kind of tannicness than you do from barrels. And just gives it a nice complexity and again, very wine-like finish to it too. And then
Yep.
the rest of the blueberries still are there and are super fruity, but it's not overwhelmingly, I guess, blueberry forward either.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, to ask a sour beer to be really fruity when you're fermenting, it is like all you could ask for is it to have the idea of it at the end, and it definitely has that. And same thing that we were talking about, like if you drink a wine and nobody's ever going to be sad a wine is astringent because of the same reason why you want this, because it has a finish.
Mm-hmm.
And the best thing you could do, like you want your sip to end because you want to do it again. And you don't want, like it never ends. There's no need to get back in there. So that nice dry finish really like makes your brain just pick the glass right back up.
Agreed. So kind of the name of the beer culture collab really comes because we're using cultures from both of our breweries. So when we first started talking about this, I wanted to use some of the bugs from your cellar. You guys have been, propagating those and growing those for decades now, and you have a huge foeder farm. So you actually sent us, I think how much volume is in
10 hectoliters, a tote, a big giant, like 6 foot by 6 foot cube.
Yeah, just full of awesome, happy little lactic acid bacteria. So this is a true culture collab. We just blended that in with kind of our base Belgian beer that we made, which is kind of a standard strong Belgian blonde ale. And then we inoculated it kind of with Surly's Brettanomyces that we've cultured with through Pentagram and some of our other barrel-aged beers in the past. And it's interesting because we had a lot of questions of, is the Brett going to be dominant? Is the lactic acid bacteria going to be dominant? And it's not super funky on the Brett side, but you definitely get some of those kind of complex notes. And at the same time, obviously it's tart. You get a lot of lactic acid, but it's not a big lactic acid bomb either. So I think we picked the right amounts of beer to blend, I think.
There's sheer science and no, I'm just kidding. I love it. Through decades and decades of doing collaborations usually means, one brewer goes to the other brewery and you get there at 9 o'clock and you throw some hops and then you drink a bunch of beers. And not to say we didn't do all that and in our main show and the Minnesota State Fair, but we also literally brought both breweries' actual liquids together, which really is to see what two breweries collaborating will do is truly bringing both of their beers to the table and saying, can they play together? Well,
yeah, it was a lot of fun, and we did a lot of work. So you came after we brewed the base beer, and then helped us basically stuff blueberries into barrels, which probably sounds easier than it actually is. It's kind of a pain in the ass.
Easier than taking them out.
Yeah, that's also true. We're planning on doing a different beer, but a beer at New Belgium, hopefully next summer for fall release. So I really hope that by this time next year, we can go to Colorado and hang out and go camping and make beer and drink beer.
Yeah, I mean, I've already figured the least, like if everything just is still in a weird, display of the scary togetherness, you can still drive out here. We can still camp and be in the woods, because I think that the forest is definitely going to be like the theme of our next year. So
it's easy to be socially distant in a forest.
Yes, really. Yeah, especially talking to each other over a campfire can't really get any better than that. Fire is the ultimate cleanser.
Little cowboy television.
Yeah, yep, I do. I've been doing that since March.
Yeah, us too here.
I just wanted to note that I'm drinking out of my amazing 2015 Pentagram glass that in my household is the coveted chalice to drink out of. And so I made sure that it was clean and polished. And actually, I usually don't get to use it. My husband always gets to use it, but not here.
Perfect. Very fitting for today.
It really is. Like in the Pentagram barrels, like that's it was definitely like an honor for our bugs to be included in those barrels.
Yeah, so that's another component of this. We emptied a fresh batch of Pentagram right before you came out, and that's a big portion of what this beer is aged in. And I think you get that nice kiss of Pentagram in there if you're familiar with the beer. It's definitely in there. Well, I just want to say thanks again. I wish we were having beers in person and celebrating the release, both here and in Colorado. The beer is going to be out in, again, it's end of August, early September. So wherever you live, if you can buy Surly, look for it.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to see you in person.
You too. Thanks, Lauren. Cheers again.
Cheers.